Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this year's What's Happened So Far in Dire Bear. We are on a 2-week break spanning from just before Christmas to just after New Year's, and we'll be back within a couple weeks. I hope you're excited. Everybody, of course, needs the break, and we are overjoyed. Starting off Monday nights, running from 7 to 10 p.m. EST, is The Troubleshooters, ran by Heath himself. A letter arrives to all the members inviting them to an office building. It's an official letter on directorate letterhead. Arriving at the office building individually, they meet a man by the name of Colm Hain. Colm informs them that they've been selected to be the first members of an organization known as the Moderation of Magical Happenings, or MOM for short. They are to form the team known as Team Apples. They're informed that their job is to seek out and handle issues where magical forces are occurring that are not sanctioned by the Directorate. Their first job is in a small town north of Innsbruck Wasteland. The town is said to be haunted by dead figures that have been returned. They arrive at the town late in the evening and take rooms at the local inn. There they discover a woman washed in white and moving through the woods. Upon closer inspection, they find her to be a banshee. Quick thinking from Lysandra sends the banshee wailing away from them, and they investigate a cairn that has some small memorabilia marking the passing of a man and a child. They return back to the inn and spend the night. The next day, they investigate the home of a citizen reporting the issue. They discover the house boarded up and strange runes on the door. The runes are related to death and sealing, and this house has to be boarded from the inside. They reach the house and find a cellar door that had the boards hastily removed. They had a quick conversation with the neighbor and found out that the neighbors haven't been seen in a couple of days. The party decided to head into the house and there met with an eerie house and a body on a dining room table covered in a sheet. Further investigation finds a room with 3 bodies. Each of these bodies has a crystal in its chest placed there by some unknown force. The last room awaits them with a closed door. As they open the door, a handsome man with a strange appearance points a hand and says, "Kill them," before he turns into a cloud of smoke or vapor and rushes from the building. They're attacked by a rabid woman who has long fangs and fingernails. They're also attacked by 2 zombies. The party handled the enemies and destroyed the crystals. They start to investigate the last body when they realize he's not dead. They recover the man, applying some healing, and then set out to report back to Colm. After dealing with the fallen man and handing him over to Colm, the party set up a plan to deal with the ambling spirit. Some research reveals a way for them to handle the spirit of the woman. They track down her fallen body and put her to rest, placing her remains with that of her fallen family. With the family at rest and the calamity in the town being dealt with the party return to their base of operations to tackle their next mission. This time, they're headed to France, specifically a town called Tarascon. The city found itself dealing with a monster, a large, shaggy beast that seems to terrorize people. It injured a party that went after it and killed 3 men. The team interviewed the survivors, compiled a list of features and data, and sought out Colm once more to do their research. This time, they found that their monster was a Bragist, a fearsome hound that showed omens or portents of death. There was something odd about the survivors' interview. As the party went out to find out what was going on, they were able to get to the bakery where they met the daughter-in-law of one of the survivors. She informed them that her brother had been staying with her father-in-law, and a quick conversation with him, along with purchasing almost the entire store, revealed strange happenings with the father-in-law. They went back to him and spoke with him about the occurrence and the creature. The man revealed he had seen the creature and had an inkling to what it was. The team went to speak with the beast. He spoke of his necessity to claim the lives of those that had attacked him, but they were not who he was there for. The old man relinquished himself to the beast. As he did, the creature walked away and faded from the world. That night, at midnight, a procession of dogs was heard moving through the streets as they howled and yipped, marking the march of death for the man. With heavy hearts but feeling accomplished, the team returned home to relax and find out what the future held for them. The team found themselves presented with an envelope for a fancy party taking place in the newfound part of Romania. They took some time in the city to relax, get fitted, purchase new things, and generally just enjoy some downtime. Colm found a new interest, the receptionist at their office building. As they were preparing to leave, boarding the train for the trip across Europe, they noticed that Colm seemed a bit under the weather. The team arrived at the party, met with the Duke and a high-ranking official within the Directorate. The team was asked to investigate sightings of a strange figure that, while not causing harm directly, was terrorizing the small town. The Duke provided them with ordnance enough to level anything they came across, including a flamethrower. The small town provided to be quaint and out of the way. The mayor was also the general store owner. They tracked down the farmer that had reported the sighting, and their driver, the son of the mayor, was happy to oblige them by giving them a lift. The farmer reported that he didn't see anything and he didn't know anything about what was going on. The team pressed a little further and did some investigating. They found a figure in the barn, and the farmer pleaded with the team not to harm the man. The man turned out to be a man stitched together from other parts, named Adrian. He told them that he ran from his home because of a fire. The farmer, originally afraid, found that Adrian was pleasant company and asked the team not to tell anyone, and that he would make sure that Adrian did not cause any trouble. The team went back to the mayor's house, where they were invited to dinner and to stay the night. However, as the dinner went on, it became clear that the mayor took umbrage with the actions of the director. One of the team did a bit of searching and found a resting, dead form in the bed. Soon the hostilities boiled over and the family attacked. The two youngest siblings wielded magic like hammers and blades. The fight nearly took the life of the team, but they prevailed, but not before taking out the mayor. After the fight was over, the team discovered the strange tattoos on the arms and neck of the two youngest children were slowly fading, and their bodies became emaciated. A funerary mask revealed writing of some sort as the tattoo on the inside of it. Weird magic was afoot. The team made their way back to the Duke with questions, concerns, and no answers. On Tuesday nights, we are pleased and, of course, as always, delighted that Jason is our DM. They have just wrapped up Valley by Night, so if you are looking for the full comprehensive list of shows that we ran for Valley by Night, please check out our YouTube channel and get caught up. They will be starting a brand new game in the new year. We look forward to seeing what it is. On Wednesday nights, we have Monster of the Week run by our very own social media manager, Quentin. And you also happen to see myself there playing Cassie. A child is missing, stolen from her campsite in the early morning while camping with her family. We meet the hunters as they come to town. James, a man who has lived in Smithville for years with talents. Jarnia, returning after the death of a family member. Stuart, one of the circus folk who arrived in town with the mind to put on a good show. Cassie, a hunter of information, always looking for anything cryptic or strange. Morgan, what some would call a monster, but is here to finish his schooling. And Vinny, a man with a strange one-eyed cat who has been pulled to this town. But it's led. With a child missing and the group slowly coming together, we find that a harpy has been killed, and that is when the harpies arrive in town. A strange man named Quincy, who runs the local bookstore, the Teen Leap, is working to push the group together and become the new local hunters. Within time, they find the child and dwell into the underground of the old wood mill in its place. A dying angel there in the place where the creature should be. The creature is out, and with this angel dead, the group has to come together to figure out what to do next. Weeks pass and Vinny leaves, and the group is down a man, and just in time for Morgan to be plagued by a dark dream of death, and not just of him, but for the rest of his friends, and a new face. A face of a man they would soon meet within the days to come. Ralph, a man with a few secrets and lock-picking skills that would make a god jealous. But with the view of the vision still in their heads, the search is on for who this man that could wield the fire that burns down the mansion began. Between 3 missing clowns and a local coffee shop going up in flames, the search continued. A dead clown in the forest found Stuart putting on a bracelet that let him speak to the dolls that lived in Quincy's bookstore. now finding out that these dolls house spirits, each with a unique ability. A clown set ablaze by a stone in his pocket, and one clown seemingly free from whatever control he had been under. They learned what Codfail was after, and it was a boy by the name of Eli, protected by what they learned was a guardian. But this boy was important. This boy was said to now the tall boy's other half, and with time, proving to the guardian that they would indeed help protect the boy, they were finally able to come together. Eli and Tall Boy were now one, but the memories they had were hidden, so the guardian took him to safety so that the hunters could continue their search. They moved and tracked down the Angel of Fire, Cadfael, and with 2 others with him and the dolls in their back pockets, the hunters were able to take Cadfael and drop him into a shadow dimension where he now stays trapped. The time now quiet, the hunters were able to take a break without the worry of the Council of Echoes looming on them. And Eli and Tallboy safe, it was only a matter of time before the group had to deal with another creature causing havoc. James was the target of the dark dream this time, as he had visions of drowning before he woke, only then to hear of one of Morgan's friends almost drowning herself. After what seemed like a quick dispatch of the creature, they came to find out that it could still be in the town's water system. What will the hunters do? Monster of the Week, Eyes of the Fallen returns in 2021. Be sure to join us and them to find out. On Thursday nights, you can catch myself running Descent into Avernus with quite a few familiar faces. The streets of Baldur's Gate are not for the faint of heart. Even more so that one can never be truly certain that whatever they're doing is hidden from the eyes of the law. You can try and steal something, and you'll always be found out. Tasked with the almost insurmountable task of dealing with a cult and a group of cultists that plagued the streets of Baldur's Gate, the party nearly lost their bard at the very beginning. Only, of course, for the gods to intervene on his behalf and send him back down to his own body. They are informed and told of things that have happened to the city of Elturel, that it has suddenly disappeared from its place in the world, that it no longer seems to exist, and has been pulled not only from the material plane, but into the first layer of hell, the layer called Avernus. There, as soon as their feet touch the ground, they are met with what can only be described as a creature of immense power, who fires 3 arrows, killing the paladin instantly. However, not to be outdone in this manner, a barbarian who has taken to prowling the streets of Elturel while it has been here on the first layer of hell, shows up and rescues the party, taking them to an underground safe house that he has basically carved out for himself. They venture towards the citadel, rescuing civilians as they can and helping out those whenever they are able to. Finally reaching the citadel, it is a task to clear it out, to make it safe once more. They go below and find a couple hundred of the innocent civilians here in Avernus and in Elturel, hidden within the catacombs themselves. They take a secret passage, feeling the ground around them and above them shaking, until they reach a graveyard. In the graveyard, they venture through. The bard has a small bit of contention with one of the denizens that lives in the graveyard. but it is not something that is too difficult to overcome. They venture further into the catacombs of the graveyard to find Duke Older Ravengard, a man thought to be lost here in this lair of hell. And they find him, rescue him from a helmet that he had placed on his head in an attempt to convey and convene with him and his own god, but had been corrupted by another devil and or demon. They're not sure which. As they exit the citadel after cleansing Ravengard of his demon, they are met with a man fully encased in a suit of armor. From there, they realize that the answer to returning Eltrul to the material plane is not going to be found in Eltrul itself. It is going to require some exploring of the plane of Avernus itself. As they descend onto the ground floor of Avernus, flown down there by Lulu, a Hollyphant who used to work and assist Zariel, they are immediately turned upon by a large group of demons and devils that are looking for fresh meat. Anything. And as they hit the ground and these turn to face them, from a portal arrives two figures. One, a winged tiefling, followed by three devils, and another, a golden-scaled sorcerer, followed by three demons. The pair run past the party to give them a head start, telling them that they will handle what is coming and that they should just go. Very briefly, the sorcerer hands Amaret, the party's blood hunter, a scroll, telling them that if they were to ever require their assistance, then it would be of no small feat to simply use the scroll, send them a message, and they would come and help them as much as they are able. There is a small amount of confusion until they get to Fort Knucklebone. From there, they are directed by Mad Maggie, completing a few tasks around the fort itself so as to assist Maggie as she sets up what would be able to assist the party in figuring out more about what has been going on here. Tapping into Lulu's dreams, they see so many different things, and it all ultimately ends with the discovery of where the Sword of Zariel is. The only problem is that they don't know where the Citadel is. And so it starts not a mad rush, but a hurry to figure out exactly where they could possibly find the Bleeding Citadel. They encounter Haruman and Haruman's Hill, and a vampire whom they free and allow his torment to end. However, while fighting Haruman, Lulu was kidnapped by a hell wasp and flown to a hell wasp nest. The party climbs the chains, gets back up into the nest, and searches for Lulu, successfully finding her and rescuing her, as well as getting themselves a Deva's heart. From there, they descend back down and find themselves just outside of the Wandering Emporium. There they are introduced to Mahadi and Bernie and rest for the first time since they've arrived here in Hell. They have been in the first layer of hell for almost a month and a half, where food does not actually taste like food, and water always seems to have this sharp metallic taste to it that doesn't necessarily taste all that great. Here, they run into another figure, one that has been helping them all this time through deals. A demon and devil. Sorry, a devil, not a demon, a devil named Azora. In addition to being down here, Azora offers the party things that they could possibly want. For Corlic, a chance for revenge against the ones who hurt him and his love in the manner that they did. For Amaranth, it is the chance of revenge. For Dante seeks Azora out instead, and requests plans of an old weapon. Amaranth is confronted once again, for not the first time since their youth, of the man who killed their parents. Koss, having been in the Wandering Emporium before, and of course previously, is able to take everybody around. He introduces them to all the important people to know, and of course, gets them deals where he possibly can. He himself, of course, is not free from the idea of a deal, and of course from the shock. Being a Kalishtar, and this being the first layer of hell, he is met with somebody he never even realized existed. The one who protects his dreams. Sorry, I apologize. I don't think that quite caught on my microphone. After leaving the Emporium, with a direction in mind, they head towards what is known as the Demon Zapper. From there, they are met with a Dao who asks them to free her from her task that she has been set upon. To do so, she knows that there will be somebody who would be able to help them, and it was a hag. And of course, nothing is ever free in Avernus, and in response and in exchange for telling them of where they could find the Titan's blood that they need to properly free this Dao, the hag wishes to have comfort and pampering. So the party writes up a letter for this hag, protects her hovel, and sends her off to Bernie, whom they had all made very good friends with while they were at the Wandering Emporium. When the hag returns, they tell them where they could find this Titan. However, this Titan is not quite the Titan that they thought it was before. The Titan is small. Almost, well, not almost. This Titan has been turned into a devil, a very small devil, and spilling his blood leaves devil's blood behind and not the Titan's blood that they need. However, being able to get the blood of Tiamat to splash on the ground would be enough to release him from his imprisonment. And so the party sets out to where Tiamat is safely ensconced in her lair on the first layer of hell. There they battle off against Archon, the self-proclaimed, caretaker of Tiamat's lair. They fight, are able to get a hold of the vial and return it to the Titan. Spilling it, the Titan becomes back to his regular form. He gives them a vial full of his own blood to take back to the Dao, which they do post-haste. Doing so gives them, freeing the Dao, gives them the letter of introduction needed to enter the infernal forge of Bel, who is going to lead them, they hope, to the Bleeding Citadel. Bel tells them of a Seabrix who they need to get information from. Getting information from the Seabricks, of course, will lead them to the next bit they need. The party arrives at an abandoned and wrecked flying fortress. Climbing their way through the tunnels, they arrive to the top level. And Dante, being the master safecracker that he is, walks up to a locked chest, says, "Well, we're in hell, so the combination is clearly 666, and opens the box as if he had already known what the answer was. Inside were 9 adamantium rods. And the moment that Adira, the party's cleric, touched one, she received a vision. An idea that stated if they put all 9 of those rods within the orb that used to float above Altrul, that they would release a planetar that might be able to help them. However, they have been tasked to retrieve these adamantium rods by Bell, given that they need to make sure that the metal shipment is returned to the salamanders so that Adira, who is in borrowed armor, does not have to live a life of servitude here in this first layer of hell. They return the rods to Bell. As they return the rods to Bell, he tells them that he doesn't want them. He will, of course, release the shipment of metal that they had been so painstakingly attempting to get for the salamanders at the Emporium. But he doesn't want the rods. He wants them to take them and use them, just to see what happens. From there, they are given direction to the Bleeding Citadel, and on the way stumble across Arcus and Cyanus's mighty fortress. The last the party had had interaction with them was when Cyanus had banished Comfort back to his realm of origin. A nice simple gift that the party had been able to give to the bard in wake of his child's impending birth. The rest and relaxation that they found at the mighty fortress was calming. Corlick learned some new features, I guess is what we'll call them. Fighting against Arcus and training with her, he was able to figure out the most effective way, and of course was taught the most effective way, to bring winged creatures down to the ground to fight him where he stood. And then he practiced with Dante. And Dante now knows exactly how he can weave in and out of Corlick's fight patterns so he can deal the most effective damage. Kos has crafted himself a suit of infernal armor, and Adira has fully realized what it means to have all 6 sets of wings. As a Deva, she has now become more powerful than she was before. Emerant, though it seems they got the least amount out of this entire thing, has been crafted an oh shit button. As a last resort, they can do something. And if you want to find out what that something is, you'll have to join us on Thursday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. EST. The party arrived at the Bleeding Citadel to realize that the realm of Avernus was trying to swallow it up and bring it underneath so as to remove this beacon of light that is inside the Citadel from reach of anybody ever again. As such, that is where we left our party, facing down 5 goat-headed creatures. They will be back in 2021. And last but certainly not least, we have a brand new game with a brand new DM on Saturday nights. We have the Stolen Cities, run by our brand new DM, Alex. And you can catch us from 7 till 10 p.m. EST on Saturdays. You will, of course, see me as I play one of the characters in the story. Earth, 3756. More than 1,000 years since the great aversion. I can read, I swear. The event where the myriad of races of the Underdark, led by the nigh-immortal vampires, rose to take the surface world from the upper races. The survivors of the cataclysm rose from the tunnels to a ruined, barren world, one stripped of its luster, majesty, and beauty that typified humanity and its sibling races. Our story takes place in one such wasteland, the Barren Isle. The majority of the island, from Battery Port to the south to the dense yet untainted forest of Combus Park, is a flat, drained waste devoid of almost all life. There, a mysterious object fell from the sky, landing in the underground village of Madengard and exposing it to the outside world. One citizen, a vampire hunter named Venelin, discovered its true nature, a strange automaton, seemingly sentient but lacking memory, that introduced itself to her as Jason. Their companionship eventually drew the attention of a Simic scout from Battery Port by the name of Ralakan. Followed by a mysterious blind stray the three would later rescue from the Combus forest by the name of Cross, until one fateful night when a band of pirates visited Madengard, making the claim that Jason was a dangerous weapon that needed to be handed over to them. The party, refusing to allow Madengard's police to turn over their friend, left with Jason on a quest for answers. All they found were more questions. The pirates, they discovered, were in league with an ancient vampire by the name of Alvin Krast, enticed by the promise of seeing the city above. Jason, they soon found out from the pirates, was in fact built to be a weapon of war of some sort. This Alzin, along with his companion Cassidy, had a small trove of advanced technology capable of interfacing with Jason, belonging to a seemingly just as ancient vampire, only known as the Vestige. And all the while, Alzin had been slowly infiltrating Madengard's police wing. The party moved to confront this vampire, only to learn that he seemed to have begun mobilizing the citizens of Madengard, compelling them to dig an extensive tunnel system out of the village. Believing his end goal being to lead the leaving citizenry to a trap for the undead on the other side of the tunnel, the party pursued an alternate route off the island, prepared to fight through whatever defenses the creatures of the night had devised to stop them. The vampires they encountered were surprisingly sympathetic and amicable. For them, Alzin was not an ally, but an old enemy, bent on destroying their base of operations, and with it, the Vestige, their de facto leader. Upon a rendezvous with the Vestige, during which they helped him fortify the glass tower against Alzin's assault, he revealed himself to be not a vampire, but another automaton, like Jason, built by the elder vampire known as Vedran. As thanks, Vestige volunteered to provide the party passage to the city above, which they accepted. The city above was a sprawling, pristine metropolis, full of people and mysterious vehicles that required no animal to move, and most strangely, vampires and the living coexisting with one another. There, they met Vedran, elder vampire and ruler of the city, who welcomed the party graciously to New Manhattan. And of course, you can find all of these games and all of our past episodes live on our YouTube. We look forward to seeing you guys again in the new year, and please be safe, social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask, be good to one another, and roar for initiative.